from the bitter cold, but we still have some cold days ahead. And a few of us might see a little patchy wintry mix early on Tuesday. Why the impacts aren't worth worrying about.
A cop killer learns his fate.
For it to come to an end finally is just helps us kind of move forward in the department.
Tonight, the mission in a Missouri town to move forward. It's the frigid rescue that's gone viral.
It's more gratifying because we deal with so much stuff that's bad that it's nice to see something good.
Only on 5 on Your Side tonight, the reunion between a St. Louis firefighter and a lucky dog.
5 on Your Side breaking news now.
Right now, St. Louis police are investigating a double shooting involving a police officer. Thanks so much for joining us for 5 on Your Side at 10. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. The shooting happened within the last 90 minutes on Waterman Boulevard. That's just north of Forest Park in the Skinker de Bolivar neighborhood. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski is live at the scene and just learned some new information from police within just the last few minutes. Laura.
Mike and Kelly, we are here at this scene where there are still quite a few officers out there. I'm going to step out of the way so you can get a better look. When our first photographer arrived, she witnessed first responders administering CPR to someone here on the scene near Waterman and DeGiverville. I'm in the Forest Park to Bolivar area. What we know so far is 2 people have been shot and taken to the hospital, and police were involved somehow. Call came in for an argument or a disturbance of some kind. Around after 8:30, officers arrived. One person shot another person, and officers potentially interrupted that shooting. We are actively waiting for police officials to come speak with us and give us more details here on the scene. Again, it's still a very active scene. A lot of the neighborhood is closed off. All of Waterman at this section near Laurel is closed off to traffic from the neighborhood. I've seen a lot of residents going by, curious to know what's going on, and both those people were rushed to the hospital. We are still actively waiting for police to come over. They were supposed to come by within the last 5 minutes, but I understand they're still trying to piece together quite a few details. It looks like some traffic has been able to come through this way, and the scene is still active though, so I'm sure these people just need to get through the neighborhood, but we are going to bring you more updates as soon as we learn them. We're hoping that police will come speak to us here at this intersection, and I will bring you the updates as soon as I get them. Guys, back to you.
All right, Laura, thanks. This is the second officer-involved shooting in the St. Louis city limits within the last 24 hours. A chase that started in St. Louis County last night ended with officers shooting and killing a man. It started in Jennings just before 11 when officers were investigating reports of a shooting on Lucas and Hunt. Officers say when they tried to stop a car leaving the scene, the driver took off. The chase ended on North 2nd Street and East Grand Avenue. That's in the city of St. Louis. Police say the suspect showed a gun and then 5 county officers shot at him, killing him. All 5 officers have been placed on administrative leave, which is standard procedure. Turning now to your weather impact forecast, the deep chill has moved out.
It certainly has. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell tracking the chances of light snow or a wintry mix for when you head out the door tomorrow.
But it's a really low chance, and we want to emphasize that. Not even a guarantee that it'll actually happen. By the way, the Eagles keeping eyes on things, maybe was looking for the groundhog today for a snack. Catherine shared that with us. This cold weather has been great to get the Eagles back in here, but what are we looking at tomorrow morning? We don't think you need to worry. At this point, there's just a very low chance we'll see anything at all. And if we do see something, it's going to be very patchy, very light, maybe some flurries, maybe a little bit of freezing drizzle, but very little in the way of any impacts. Why? Because the roads have so much chemical residue still on them from last week's snow. And today we were up around 40 degrees. We're still around freezing tonight. The little area sliding to the south out of Iowa, plus the system sliding by to our south. The two will try to merge right over St. Louis tomorrow morning during the rush hour. I think for the vast majority of us, we're just looking at clouds. If you see it spin a little bit, that might be about all you get. 20% or less chance for any precipitation that's going to cause us any kind of accumulation. Most of it's going to be out of our area altogether. We'll time it out for you in a few minutes.
Tonight, we're hearing from the community just days after a jury recommended the death penalty for the man who killed Herman Police Sergeant Mason Griffith and injured Officer Adam Sullentrump in the line of duty. Kenneth Simpson learned his fate on Friday.
5 on Your Side's Justina Coronel shows us how friends and loved ones are carrying on the officer's legacy nearly 3 years after the shootings.
Mason would go down there quite a bit with the train, being down there and talk to people and things like that. So it was the perfect location.
Next to the Missouri River, it was a place of comfort for fallen Herman Detective Sergeant Mason Griffith. Now it's an area dedicated to him.
Always giving back. He never had downtime. He was always finding a way, helping somebody.
In Herman, there are signs of support all around. Blue ribbons showing solidarity.
Each day I think of Mason. I mean, I travel past Casey's every day to work and going home, so it's a constant reminder of what happened.
It's been almost 3 years since March 12th when Griffith and Officer Adam Selentrup responded to a disturbance at the Casey's gas station on Missouri Highway 19. Kenneth Simpson shot the two officers and fled the scene. In front of Casey's, a memorial is on display.
For it to come to an end finally is just helps us kind of move forward in the department.
Just last week, a jury recommended the death penalty for Simpson.
I think that the jury did its job. I know it was a difficult decision for them to make, but they did their job and came to the right decision for the families and the officers.
We're just hoping now that there's some moving forward, hope, healing, and closure.
Griffith's mother-in-law is part of the Chief Mason Griffith Foundation.
Not only the fallen do we represent, but the current ones. If they're hurt on duty or off duty, we try to step in and bridge the gap of any financial needs.
Over the last 2 years, they've given back close to $400,000. Every dollar, a reminder of the dedication.
We're liking being involved like Mason used to. I think he would be proud.
Justina Cornell, 5 on your side.
5700 block of Waterman.
Breaking news. This is the breaking news. The double shooting in the Skinker to Bolivar neighborhood. Let's pick up the press conference.
Victim was screaming and hollering. He then turned, shot the female that was on the porch with him, and then exchanged gunfire with the officer who had just arrived. The officer then retreated to a safe location, got a tactical position, re-encountered the gentleman who is now going in and out of the house. There was another exchange of gunfire. At that moment, the suspect who had shot the female went back into his home. The officer got other officers here to try to get to the porch to render aid to the female victim. They retrieved the female victim, got her to a safe location to try to give her aid, and then they entered the house to address the male suspect who had shot her. He was located inside the house, suffering from a gunshot wound. We are saddened today to say that the female was transported to area hospital where she has died this evening. The male is in critical condition. It's critical unstable at this time. No officers were injured during this incident. The suspect's gun has been recovered. We know right now that our officer is a 7-year veteran, and we will continue this information. We'll provide more information as it becomes available. That's what we know from this very short preliminary investigation. Any specific question about that?
So I just want to add a little bit of some context. We just had an opportunity to watch the body camera video. Those are very interesting perspectives from a police officer's point of view, and our detectives rely heavily on those body cam videos. What you see in that body cam video is an officer responding to a call of a woman who needed help, and that officer doing everything he possibly could to eliminate the threat of a guy that was firing shots, but ultimately officers tried to save her life in that process. It is nothing short of heroic of these officers that responded here tonight, and that officer who engaged the suspect on a couple of different times, as the major just shared with you. I think that it would give all St. Louisans a little bit of some ease tonight, knowing that when officers face danger, they do it professionally, they do it quickly, and they do everything they can to save human life. So the officer was truly heroic in what he tried to do.
Is this a house that you guys have responded?
And that was police spokesperson Mitch McConnell talking about what could have been, sounds like a domestic situation where a woman was unfortunately shot and killed, and the suspect is in the hospital. No officers were injured in this, but an officer did arrive, and luckily he was not injured. We'll be right back. A daring rescue in St. Louis has captured hearts across the country. And just hours ago, a North City dog was reunited with the man who saved her from an icy pond. Melanie Johnson has the happy reunion you'll only see on 5 News.
Got you, Bubba.
A dog trapped under frozen waters on one of the coldest days in January.
Paddle back, I got him.
The call came in as a dog in distress.
The dog was pretty cold, so she wasn't moving a whole lot.
When St. Louis firefighter Private Gary Zarbo and his partner arrived, they realized they were not just fighting the clock, they were fighting the freeze. The single-digit temperature so brutal it forced the crew to pivot to Plan B on this icy lake in O'Fallon Park.
Motor wouldn't start on the boat because it was so cold, so we just grabbed paddles and went to Plan B and paddled out and picked her up. I got him.
Braving the cold temperatures and uncertainty of the ice, this was this firefighter's first rescue mission on the ice in his 12-year career.
We always prepare for the worst. I mean, we put ice suits on, we get ready to go. Come on, big guy.
The rescue, less than a minute, watched close to 9 million times on social media.
I saw the video. I goes, that's my dog.
Eddie Simmons Jr.'s dog, Piper, had been missing for 14 days. The retired city police officer desperately searching for her after she escaped out of his North City fence.
This lady right here just wants to run. I was getting ready for work. My phone rings, the animal patrol said, hey, we got your dog.
On Monday, Piper and the firefighter met again.
Yeah, whole face full of ice last time I saw you.
Reunited on dry land.
Thanks again, man. I appreciate it. Man, I appreciate it.
The two first responders sharing a bond to serve and now a furry friend.
We're just in a field where you want to help.
Piper, a reminder for this firefighter turned hero of the why behind his uniform.
We deal with so much on this job that some people that you can't ever unsee, that days like today make you feel good about what you do.
In North City, Melanie Johnson, 5 on your side.
Piper's owner tells us he has fixed the fence where she got out. The dog is doing okay and is happy to be home with the family's other dog.
Well, it's been 2 months since sports books went live in the Show Me State, and it appears Missouri gamblers are putting their money on sports betting.
Wagers in the first month far exceeded some estimates, adding up to $543 million. While that may seem like a win for the sports books like FanDuel and DraftKings, Covers.com senior editor Ryan Butler says those gambling giants actually lost more than $20 million in December.
They're not going to lose $20 million in a month ever again. They will probably never have a losing month again after this. But
Butler says the loss is due to all of the money sportsbooks poured into promo deals that month. Gaming officials say the hundreds of millions of dollars in bets generated about $520,000 in tax dollars for Missouri schools.
The St. Louis Cardinals loaded up for spring training today. Pitchers and catchers are set to report to Jupiter, Florida next Tuesday. The first game of the Grapefruit League is February 21st. Our sports director, Frank Cusimano, will have new information on a 3-team trade involving one of the Cardinals' fan favorites. The Cardinals are also flying to a new TV home this season. Major League Baseball will now produce and distribute in-market telecasts, replacing the financially strapped FanDuel Sports Network. Now, games will still be available on cable and satellite. They'll also stream on a new service called Cardinals.tv. Subscriptions for that go on sale next Tuesday. It costs $20 a month or $100 for the full season.
Chief Meteorologist, not yet. We're just 4 days away from the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics in Milan Cortina. The first curling events will get underway in about 36 hours from now.
Athletes from around the world are starting to arrive at the Olympic villages. 1,700 Olympians and coaches will be housed in Milan.
Modular units in the Dolomite Mountains will house another 1,400 athletes and officials, and they will be removed after the games.
And tonight, final preparations are underway in both host cities. Organizers promise the Olympic hockey arena in Milan will be ready when the puck drops on women's hockey on Thursday. Construction delays plague the arena, which is one of 2 venues constructed for the games. Meanwhile, the pressure is on to complete some venues in Cortina. Organizers say a cable car intended to carry spectators to the women's alpine skiing events will not be ready.
5 on your side is your home for the Winter Olympics. Our Corey Miller is in Milan covering the games. His live reports on Today in St. Louis start later this week, and later in this newscast, Corey will give us a little taste of what he's been up to in the Olympic host city. Now it's time for Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell. I kind of forwarded our little rundown here. He's here with the weather impact forecast. It was a little warmer today, and we were able to melt some of that snow, Scott.
We were. Some of it. Not a lot, but some of it. I thought you were going to give me a free trip to Italy.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah, I'm ready to go have some pasta. All right, I guess I'll just go over to the hill, and that'll take care of that. We're talking about tomorrow morning. Yes, there is a low chance we'll get a little light freezing drizzle or a little snowflake action. It's not going to amount to much. We don't see it as being a problem. Temperatures aren't dropping that much overnight tonight. And the reality is our roads, they've been treated with so much stuff. There's chemical out there that will melt anything that were to fall. And we think it's going to be really patchy. There's a little bit of a warm up later in the week. Brief cool down Saturday. Going into next week, we do have milder weather on the way for you. Here's a look across the region tonight. Clouds once again rolling back in. You see a little band of snow up to the north here into Iowa, stretching into far northwestern portions of Illinois. That's sliding southeastbound. We also have some energy coming out of the southwest. And the two are going to meet effectively right over us. And that's where things will start to come together. But that's where they start to come together. When they really come together, the system is off to our southeast. We're at 34 right now in St. Louis. We're only dropping back into the mid and upper 20s tonight. So tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock, this is when we think the clouds are lowest, thickest, and have that potential of producing a few snow flurries, maybe a spot or two of a little very light freezing drizzle. But again, there's a lot of chemical on the roads. We think that's adequate enough that anything that falls, which if it's barely measurable, and it barely would be if it happens, would be able to be taken care of, certainly on the main roads and most of the side roads that have already had some treatment on them. And then it's all gone by lunchtime and out of our area. Skies will start to clear some tomorrow afternoon. It'll become partly sunny late in the day. This is your system here. You see the main focus as well south and east of St. Louis, and that thing scoots off the east coast as we head towards the end of the week. Now, we get a little taste of chilly air here on Wednesday, so that's kind of a brief setback. Not like it was, but just colder, briefly. Going into the weekend, we're brushed by the cold air. Look at where it's focused. Into the northeast. It is going to be brutally cold there. But heading into next week, the pattern's changing. The Arctic air remains to our north. We get into the southwest flow aloft. This is the kind of flow that brings in moisture and potentially some active weather. It also brings in much above average temperatures. We think we're back into the 50s for highs next week. It is 34 degrees right now in St. Louis. 41 was our high. Made it above freezing today, right after 10 o'clock, 253 hours below freezing. We get to the bonus 10-day forecast because we want to show you next week's mid-50s. Even Frankie's happy about this. All right, so tomorrow, 35 for the high. That's still better than any of the last.
It's still better than a single digit.
Yes, no single digit low temperatures. We do have teens for Wednesday morning and Thursday morning, but after that, we're easing right on into the weekend.
All right, thanks, Scott. Frank is next with sports.
The Cardinals trade an all-star. The Blues, oh my gosh, how bad can it get? And we are playing hit and run with the hottest sports figure in town. Last year, the Cardinals had 6 players on their roster who had been selected to all-star games in their careers. They're all gone now. The latest packing his bags is Brendan Donovan, who was traded to Seattle in a 3-team trade, which also involved the Rays. Donovan, who will be making $5.8 million next season, will turn 29 years old. His resume is impressive. A Gold Glover, an All-Star, and one of the best in the sport at getting on base. In return, the Cardinals received pitcher Yoangelo Sanja. The 22-year-old played his college ball at Mississippi State. Sanja was the 7th prospect in the Mariners organization and can actually pitch with both hands. Although he's much stronger as a righty, he does touch 98 on the gun. The Cardinals also acquired 2 promising minor league outfielders, Ty Pete and Colton Ledbetter, and 2 relatively high draft picks. Next week, almost all of the Blues players will be someplace warm and relaxing. Those not playing in the Olympics get 21 days off, or as we call it at Channel 5, the Kelly Jackson schedule. Tonight in Nashville was the dad's trip. The Blues are 8-2-1 with the fathers on hand. 5 minutes in, Justin Falk to Jake Neighbors for the goal. And then some awkward high fives for the dads. Second period, Jimmy Snuggerud with a deft pass to Colton Parayko for his first goal of the season. Blues led 5-1. Again, more dorky high fives. But the Blues blew a 4-goal lead, and Steven Stamkos will push it past Joel Hofer. This is a brutal 6-5 loss for the Note. So, the best show in town is SLU. The 21-1 Billikens moved up to 19th in the rankings, and Josh Schertz is the talk of college basketball. That's why we decided to play Hit and Run with the Man. Favorite pizza place in town? I know you're a foodie.
Yes, La Pizza.
What keeps you up later at night? Looking at video after a loss or looking at video after a win?
Usually if we lose, I'm too depressed, so I usually am able to sleep easier. When I win, I'm more amped.
The most famous person you've heard from during this incredible streak you're on?
You know, Senator Schmidt would be pretty famous here in Missouri, the governor. I guess I would go with them. I mean, coaches aren't that famous. I would go more with the politicians.
Are Indiana State fans right now more mad at you or happy for you?
I'd say 90% are happy and 10%, the ones online, are probably more mad.
You versus your son in a game of one-on-one in your prime, who would win?
Prime me for sure. Prime me for sure. Now, definitely him.
You're not recruiting shrimps anymore. You tell me perfect player like size, athleticism, weight for Josh Schertz.
Ooh, probably about 6'8", 6'9", guard skills, about 220 pounds. Can guard 1 through 4, maybe 1 through 5. So maybe if Amari McCosh is about 3 inches taller and handle the ball like Jason Tatum, that's my ideal player, Jason Tatum. There you go.
Is there a player that you get on that your wife tells you, don't you yell at him?
Almost everybody. She gets mad at me for yelling. But Paul Otieno, there's a very soft spot for Paul. She always gets mad at me whenever I yell at Paul.
How often do you daydream or even just dream about the Billikens making like an NCAA tournament run or a Final Four?
When you're rolling and this place is packed and you got the whole community supporting you, I probably think about that even more than I do about the NCAA tournament. It's just like what this week looked like, and then certainly if we make a run the tournament, you know, what the town of St. Louis would be like, particularly if we're able to, God willing, you know, get the NCAA tournament games here and somehow be in St. Louis for the dance.
They're at Davidson tomorrow, and, you know, he mentioned St. Louis because we have an NCAA regional site.
First round.
Yes, so if they're that good and they get to like a 4 or 5 seed, the NCAA sometimes rewards you. Can you imagine St. Louis playing at Enterprise? Oh, my goodness.
It would be
heaven.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it would be fantastic. Frank, thanks. We'll be right back.
We want to give you an update on breaking news we brought you at the top of the newscast. Right now, St. Louis police are investigating a double shooting that has left a woman dead. This happened at a home on Waterman Boulevard that's located north of Forest Park. Investigators say a man shot the woman on the front porch and then exchanged gunfire with police. The woman died at the hospital. Right now, he is in critical condition. The officer was not hurt. And we'll bring you any overnight updates on the 5 on Your Side app and on Today in St. Louis, and that starts at 5 a.m.
All right, everybody, Corey here in Milan. I said before I went, I'm gonna eat as much pizza as possible, and then I'm gonna rank them out of 5 Olympic rings, 1 to 5. So we're at the very first one here. I got the most basic looking one I could find, just marinara, starting off nice and easy. This is only a couple blocks from our hotel, but here we go. It's very good. It's crunchy. You can probably hear the crunch around. Can you hear the crunch? Very crunchy. So I go for a little more cheese. So we're gonna start at 3. We're gonna start out with a 3. Not too crazy off the bat. We're giving this first piece a 3.
What a rough assignment. You
Yeah.
can follow all of Corey Miller's adventures in Milan and his Slice of Italy pizza reviews on the 5 on Your Side app. Just scan the QR code on your screen to download.
Yeah. He texts me every day and he says, "What should I order today?" I said bolognese, and then tomorrow you go carbonara, and then tomorrow go straight red sauce. So
Well, it's better than having McDonald's.
exactly.
100% on that one.
Yeah, and weather-wise, we are talking about, a moderation overall in the pattern that we're dealing with compared to that bitter cold. This morning we went above freezing after 253 consecutive hours below freezing, and I heard somebody say, hallelujah. We're at 35 tomorrow, 30 on Wednesday. Small chance we'd see any precipitation tomorrow morning. It should not be a big deal, if it's a deal at all.
By the way, nothing wrong with McDonald's, but not in Milan, Italy.
Not in Italy.
There you have it. 5 on Your Side at 10. We're always streaming on your phone and smart TV.
Have a great tomorrow.